Hello everyone and good evening. Welcome to Speed and Power. Today I have an interesting topic to discuss about. Actually, I was with discussion with my couple of friends and they were asking me what motorcycle you should buy, considering that this is your first time buying a motorcycle. And this is the same logic that applies to cars, but let's start off with motorcycles. So essentially, in India at least, what we have is, let's say we are selling, or at least there are, let's say, 1,000 motorcycles to sell right now, which are available to buy. Out of those 1,000, there is a very good probability that about 900 of them would be under the 4 lakh rupee range. So it's very concentrated in one particular price point, given how our economy works and how our income groups are. So, and this is obviously just a hypothetication, but if you do look at the market, you will realize that most of the motorcycles, 80-90% of them, are concentrated in this price range. So let's start off with that. One of the key things that you need to keep in mind is when you're buying your first motorcycle, always try to keep opinions out of your head. It's very important that you do that because the more opinions you have, the more clouded your judgment can become because you don't have any reference point as to what will be good, what won't be, what will be most suited to you and would not be. So the most important thing that you should keep in mind is you need to set your budget. Let's say we are looking into the range up to 4 lakh rupees, right? And this is on-road price I'm talking about, not the actual prices. Let's take on-road prices, 4 lakh, which is the technically the realistic affordable scenarios. So 4 lakh rupee is our range. Now in a 4 lakh rupee range, what are we talking about? We have motorcycles that start with 110, 115 lakh rupees on road in Bangalore or in India. We will have 125, 110cc motorcycles all the way up to 400cc motorcycles or 450, and even the Royal Enfield Interceptor and the Continental, which is 650cc. All of this will be on road more or less 4 lakh, 10, 15,000 more or less. It varies according to the model or the variant that you go for. Right? Now that you have your budget, you know what is your market size, you need to set your budget. Let's say I am buying a first motorcycle, I have the money, but I want to get into motorcycling. My strong recommendation would be that you do not overspend. It's good that you have the budget, it's good that you have the purchasing power, but it's also very important that you set your boundaries right. If you have the budget, obviously you can go ahead and buy a Interceptor 650 or a 390 Duke. But will that really allow you to enjoy and will that really allow you to learn and progress through the motorcycling? Probably not, unless you're a very skilled natural rider, which is very unlikely to happen for most of the populations, especially with bikes like the 390 Duke. Those are just ballistic in performance. So it's very important that you put your priorities right? So let's say realistically, what I have observed is 2 lakh rupee range is the one that you should actually aim for, because in the 2 lakh rupee range you're usually trying to get a motorcycle which is affordable. You can easily live with it, it will do most of the things that you actually want to do, and the most of the saturation that you see in the market is actually in that 2 lakh rupee price point. There's obviously bikes that are more than 2 lakh and there's a good number of bikes there, but it's mainly the sub 2 lakh bikes which are really have the more concentration or the more offerings to give you, right? So let's start off there. Now let's figure out the priorities. 2 lakh rupees you can spend, that's your budget, and you can easily spend on no sweat. And usually the bikes that you'll get under 2 lakh rupees are the bikes that you can very easily live with. They're very good in terms of service, quality, performance, reliability, brand image, if you're bothered about that, and also the features. It's not really important, but if you really want to go into the technical nitty-gritties of getting the features and the latest tech and all that, it's there. Okay, so let's start off with. So I think there are 4 ideas that you can follow. And before we get into those ideas, let me just tell you one thing. If you're buying your first motorcycle, right, like I said in the beginning, keep opinions out of place. I mean, obviously it's a very contradictory statement. I'm also giving an opinion, but the more opinions you have about things is something that will always cloud your judgment. That's the first thing that you need to keep out of. Second, do not bother about the spec sheets. The spec sheet do not tell you the entire story. We'll get into that, but do not bother about the spec sheets. And third thing, keep your priorities clear. Keep your priorities clear in the sense, why do you want to buy a motorcycle? What is the purpose of buying a motorcycle? There could be a utilitarian purpose. There could be a purpose where you want to get into motorcycling. You want to enjoy riding. You want to feel what it, like is to have a motorcycle with you. You want to do long journeys with it. You need versatility. Or you want to improve your skills. You want to become a better motorcyclist. You want to follow through your life in motorcycling. So there are some priorities you need to keep clear of. Now that said, let's keep those aside. Let's bring our attention to the four aspects that I was talking about, the four elements that you should really focus on while making a purchase. The first, if you're the kind of person who wants to buy a motorcycle just to enjoy motorcycling, just to want to get into motorcycling, and also want to feel what it is to ride a motorcycle, learn on it really well, and you are really unattached, and I really would suggest that you stay unattached. But if you're already doing that you're really unattached from the let's say the brand value of things, or what will people say about it, the perception element of it, then, and you want to buy a motorcycle that you want to ride, learn on, and then move on to something better once you realize that yes, you have maxed out this motorcycle and now you can move on to something better. The perfect start for me, I'll suggest, is the TVS Raider 125. Now, in India, bike would be what, 110, 115, I think the top model with the digital screen and everything, I think it's 120 or something like that. It's a perfect bike. Honestly speaking, it's a perfect bike. There are very few bikes that you can buy in that price range, and out of all the bikes that are there, there are some good ones. For example, the Super Splendor is a very, very good motorcycle, but you wouldn't want to see yourself in a Super Splendor. I mean, obviously there is a perception factor, and it depends on your age and your priorities as well. A Super Splendor is more utilitarian. A TVS Raider is really not that. It's something else. It's a utility bike. It's a very cheap 125cc made for commuting, but the way it does things is exceptionally good. The TVS Raider, once you go to the TVS showroom and take a test ride, you will realize three things. Number one, the bike is super, super agile. Now, here's the distinction that I want to keep in mind. We would want to keep a distinction between quick and fast. The TVS Raider is not fast. It's a 125cc bike, 11-12 horsepower in that. It's not going to be very fast. But what it is extremely quick. It's extremely agile. You can just flick it into corners and it just goes. The chassis is extremely well balanced. And because it's so light, the engine is super peppy. TVS is known to make peppy bikes. Those are extremely smooth, gradual power delivery, and very engaging to ride. And the TVS actually comes with everything that you really need. Granted, it does not come with a rear disc brake, but with a bike that light, you really don't need it. And this is the sort of bike that you can ride in the city. And because it's so cheap and light, and it has such a good performance, you can basically use it anywhere. I mean, it's technically speaking, you can take motorcycles off-road, and the TVS Raider will just do that because it's so light. And the way the bike pulls, even with that 10, 11 or 12 horsepower that it has, it pulls so nicely, it pulls so strongly. And TVS has been making good two-wheelers since they have started. The Raider is an exceptionally good bike. That is the kind of bike where, which I would suggest that when you're planning to become a better motorcyclist along the line over the years, the TVS Raider makes a lot of sense to start on, especially given that you have never ridden a motorcycle. So my recommendation, save your money, get the TVS Raider, learn on it, move on. So that's it. Now, let's say you have a little bit of experience. Now you want to move up to something that is extremely good, right? My first recommendation to you would be and you want to obviously bump up the price, right? So, and you want to look into a little bit more of a performance orientation. So my opinion and my suggestion would be to either choose between the TVS Apache 164V and the Hero Extreme 4V. Go get a test ride, see which one you actually like. The difference in both of them is there's a slight difference in the demeanor of those bikes, the way they move, and obviously the aesthetics of it. I personally really like the 164V. The 164V, and we'll also get to the 204V, have, I can only, explain in a way. It's just like the engine runs on cream. It's that smooth. You won't really feel, and you won't, it's very hard to justify in words how smooth that engine is. You actually have to go to TVS showrooms and just take a test ride, and you will realize how smooth that bike is. And the TVS, again, just like the Radiator, it comes with super high quality chassis. The brake balance is amazing. The steering is good. The engine is super good. I think the 164V comes with about 17 horsepower. That's no joke. It's pretty good given that bike is so light. And the Raider was already a firecracker. The 4V is just on another level. But there's a slight distinction between the 4V and the Extreme. The Extreme would feel more engaging to ride. It has the more oomph, not in the specs, but when you ride it, it feels more energetic. It's not like it has outright more performance than the TVS 160. It really doesn't. But the thing is, it feels very energetic, and partly the reason because of that is the TVS is extremely smooth. And when you have bikes that are that smooth, it really comes with gradual power delivery. So when you're riding in the city and on the highways, the TVS will feel more natural. It's just, very smooth, easy to ride. The Extreme would, urge you to just push a little bit more. But once you do that, it's actually a more rewarding bike. But it's a very slight difference in character, and this is something that you have to ride and test out for yourself. From my end, both of those bikes are at the same level. They have the similar kind of connect in the chassis, and Hero chassis are super. The 164V is just a testament to that. It's amazing. So just get a test ride, decide one of them, which one you like. There's also one more bike I would like to mention is the Gixxer 150s. Now, granted, Suzuki is not updating those bikes in terms of tech and in terms of how old that bikes were. And you go to the showroom, what you will really see is a very high quality motorcycle, but it doesn't feel very modern-ish kind of. But it is a fabulous bike. You will realize when you ride the Gixxer is that the spec sheets do not matter. I think it has 14 or 15 horsepower, similar, but it is just a little bit more expensive and is really bare bones. But when you ride it, the engagement and the fun that you'll have on the Gixxer is unparalleled. It's superb in terms of riding. So, but the Gixxer is a little bit outside the scope because the Gixxer is at this moment an old motorcycle. It won't feel old in terms of its quality. It will just feel old in the fact that the bike has not been updated, and the digital dash that it comes with does feel very dated. Compared to, and the Hero also is not very attractive. It's a good dash, it has all the information, but it's not very attractive. The Apache's digital dash is actually pretty damn good. And it comes with adjustable levers and everything, and it sounds nice, so you have that. I'm not moving to the Pulsars just yet. I'll explain the Pulsars later. But if I want to move up another notch, in my opinion, the best bike that you can buy under the 2 lakh rupee range is the 204V. It is everything the 160 is, just with a lot more performance. And now, in the latest iteration of the 204V, it comes with Showa suspension, which is fully adjustable front and back. It has clip-on handlebars. The engine is superb. It's smooth. It's pump. It's just magic, that bike. It handles perfectly. It has dual channel ABS, everything it comes with. The bike does come with riding modes. It's not really useful. It's not really, it doesn't make much sense in a 20 horsepower bike. But it's there. If you want to use it, it's there. The bike is very torquey. Again, just like the 160, it has a very gradual pull to its power band. But it has more power. So the RTR 200 is a bike that you'll be able to use for a longer duration. And the way the chassis is, the clip-on handlebars, the feedback you get in that bike, and the way that bike pulls with that 19 or 20 horsepower, it's exceptionally good. So, and the digital dash obviously is a white background on a black text. It is super bright, and in the night it looks amazing. Again, it's a TVS product. The RTR 204V is TVS, I can say, at its very best in terms of engineering. That is a bike that is a testament to show what good engineers can make when there is just the focus is on to make the bike, and the 204V is just that. It's an exceptionally good bike. Get that. Now, there is another element too when you're purchasing a bike. I've seen people, and I know a lot of people personally as well. There is this element of becoming a biker. I get it. You want to move into the trend. You love motorcycles now. You want to be a biker. You want to do motor vlogging. You want to have a more lifestyle element to buying a motorcycle. And I think there's only one motorcycle that really fits that bill, and that's the Honda 350 from Royal Enfield. Now, credit where it's due. That motorcycle looks exceptionally good. Exceptionally good. When you see it in person, and if you go to the Royal Enfield showroom and you see one in the right color, there is a very good choice. There is a very good chance that you'll buy it right on the spot. It's that good looking. It's easy to access. It's a low height bike. It looks nice. You can just fling your leg over. It's just easy. You can comfortably flat foot your both feet. It's just amazing. The engine obviously is from the classic 350, so it's a very torquey engine, and it does sound very nice. But when you ride it, like I said in the beginning, it's a lifestyle motorcycle. So it's not the really kind of motorcycle that you would consider to be exceptionally good in terms of its engineering or in terms of its dynamic, but it's a very responsive, it's a very sharp, well, not sharp, sharp in the sense of engine performance. It's a very responsive, alert, sharp kind of motorcycle. Because of that engine, it's very torquey, and it's obviously lighter than the classic 350, and it's very small. So it's very easy to ride, and it sounds nice. So in the city, a Honda 350 is something that you will really, really enjoy. And when you look at that bike, you'll obviously gravitate towards it. But there are some fundamental issues with that bike. Number one, because it's so small, when you take it on the highway, small bikes really don't work on highways. There's an element that creeps into your mind of insignificance when you're on a big bike, and because the highways are wide, long roads, open roads, you really do need a big bike to feel comfortable. That's one thing. It's a mental thing. You really have to ride it on the highway to experience it. It might not happen for you, but it does happen for me. I'm just telling you from experience. Second, a smaller bike is less accommodating, especially when you're doing longer journeys. So when you have a bigger bike, you can easily move around, you can comfortably sit. This would be just a slight struggle. It's not like that the Honda 350 is not good. It's good, it's comfortable. But on the highways, it does feel small, like I said. The third thing, even though the bike is very agile and very alert, there are two problems with that. The first thing, the tires that it comes with I think Seat tires. Those are not really good tires. It's good enough, but it's like on the wet or in loose surfaces, the tires really doesn't give you much confidence. So that's one thing you need to look out for. I mean, if you have the budget, you can buy a Honda 350 and go to MRF or anywhere and just get higher quality, good tires on that bike, and it will drastically change your experience. The second thing that I did notice on the bike when I did a ride is the rear suspension on that bike is stiff. Now, once you have someone on board on that bike, it dampens up a little bit, so it moves a little stable. But when you're riding it alone, the rear suspension is just too stiff. It just keeps on bouncing, and it's a very weird sort of thing. It creeps away the factor of having ultimate comfort. So that's one thing to look out for. Another thing is the engine. Although that engine on the classic 350 is just smooth, it's super good. The problem with that is on the Hunter, for some reason, maybe it's because the bike is short or it's a lightweight or small, it's the refinement. The refinement doesn't go away, but it does create a sense of strain somehow. Till 80, 85, I felt that the bike is pretty okay. But after that, it has this sense of strain that for some reason the Classic and the Bullet doesn't have. And even the Meteor is on another level. So it doesn't have that. And when you combine that with slightly inferior tires and the fact that it's a smaller bike, on the highways, it's gonna be a little bit of tiring experience. So that's one thing that you need to keep in mind on. But in the city, fabulous. And as a lifestyle choice, you really can't go wrong with a 100 350. Just go for it. It's smashingly good looking. When you see it in person, you'll realize it. Another bike that I would like to mention in this price range is another bike from Hero. It's the X-Pulse 200 4V. Yeah, that one. It's a niche bike, okay? It's an off-roader. It's pretty obvious in the way you look at it. But if you can live with that concept, that if you can live with the fact that you have a slightly more adventurous or off-roady kind of motorcycle, you should definitely consider the 204V because it has performance, it has ergonomics, it has comfort, and it has superb suspension on that bike. That bike Hero has made purely to do off-roading. It doesn't come with full-blown off-road blocky tires. It has more a mix of hybrid. It's road biased, and at the same time it can handle quite a lot of off-roading. And obviously it's an evolution of the original Impulse, so it's gotta be good. And it is good. So when you ride it, it has enough performance in the city because of that long travel suspension, which is pretty good, by the way. You can just glide over potholes, rough roads, just easy. And it has very good dynamics as well. It doesn't feel wobbly or wallowy. You turn it, it stays stable. So it's a very nice bike. If you can shell out a little bit more money, you can obviously go for the Rally Pro kit. That gives you very high ground clearance because it comes with even longer travel suspension, which is fully adjustable. I think it's Showa suspension, so it's pretty good. The only problem with the Rally kit is the ground clearance steps up pretty high. So you really need to go to the showroom and figure that out for yourself. Probably you won't find the Rally Pro kit in the showroom most of the times. You'll usually find the normal X-Pulse, and when you sit on it, you'll get a very clear idea of how tall the normal bike is, and then you can add another 20-30 mm of ground clearance with the Rally Pro kit comes with, and you'll get a very good sense of what this Rally Pro kit will do for you. But as I said, if you can live with that idea that you can have an off-roady kind of looking bike, go for the X-Pulse. The versatility on that bike is just on another planet. It's a proper, full-grown, thoroughbred off-roading bike. It's just amazing. Okay, so these are essentially my picks as to what bikes I'll recommend. Now, I was mentioning about the Pulsars. The only Pulsar in this range, now I'm not sure about the pricing. I do think that the NS200 is under the 2 lakh range or just a smidge above that. But if you want a bike which has performance, which has style, which has dynamics, and for some reason you don't like the RTR 200, get the NS200. It has 24 horsepower, 24, 25 horsepower. It comes with 21 or 22 newton meters of torque. It's light enough. It is superb. That bike, when it came out, first time I think in 8-10 years ago, it was fabulous. And it has been fabulous all the years. And by the way, this is the only bike that comes with a perimeter frame. So the bike is stable in corners. It just goes into corners. The tires are nice. The chassis is very stable. The braking is amazing. The acceleration is good. That bike is a proper feeling good motorcycle. It is just all performance, that bike. It's just so nice. However, when you consider the bike, the NS200, you have to consider one thing, that the NS200 will feel dated. Now, it does have everything. The latest iteration comes with the digital dash and everything. It has everything in it. But it does feel old because the bike has, like I said, been almost 10 years old now. And there is not much update to it. The bike now finally gets LED headlights. So you can see how small of an updates or increments Bajaj has actually done on that bike. But for all it's worth, it's a fabulous bike. It's a fabulous bike. You buy that bike, you will learn so many things on it. It's just the power, the acceleration, the torque, the gearing, the suspension, the braking, the chassis is just superb. So the only competitor to this bike is the RTR 204V. In terms of performance, they're pretty much the same. Obviously, the NS200 will have a higher top end. So if you're doing drag races, I don't know why you would, but if you are doing that, the NS200 will win. Hands down, it'll win. Okay? But when you're actually riding the motorcycles in the city, or when you're doing, let's say, 80, 90, 100 kilometer per hour touring on the highway, it's the RTR 200 that will feel more mature, because it has a very relaxed feel to it. It has a very smooth engine, and the fact that it comes with latest tech, it comes with adjustable suspension. You can tune it to your liking. The chassis is at par. Obviously, the NS200 feels a little bit more agile because of the perimeter frame, but it's the RTR 200. If let's say the NS200 is at 20, the RTR 200 will be 19 and a half. It's that small of a difference. But what you would end up with is the RTR 200 will feel extremely modern. The NS200 will not. So that's one thing that you need to keep. And if you can work with it, then obviously it's a good purchase. Right. So these are all the bikes that I wanted to discuss with you. But like I said in the beginning, if it's your first bike, keep the judgments out of it. Keep the keyboard warriors out of your consideration list. And do not go for the spec sheets. The spec sheets do not tell you the story. Pick a bike that you feel that you like it, or you would be very comfortable in it, or something that you want to buy. Buy it, ride it. It will teach you a lot of things. It will teach you what you want, what you don't want, what you like, what you don't like. And that's a very, very important lesson, because if you always be in a pursuit to buy the best there is, to have opinions, to have indicators that, hey, this is the one to go for, you will always end up with a motorcycle that might be falling short of a connection towards with you. That might happen, because a bike, when people review bikes, especially bikes that are reviewed by journalists, experienced journalists, they come from a place where there is a lot of bikes that they've ridden. So they can narrow it down, and then they can give you a focused review on that bike, whether it's good or not. They have reference points. You don't. So their reference points is purely dependent on their attitudes toward motorcycle, what kind of character they want. That might differ with yours. So take a test ride of all the bikes that you feel, shortlist them, take a test ride. You will quickly understand which one you actually like. Or you can follow the first 4 or 5 motorcycles that I told you. Give them a try. You will get a very good sense of what kind of motorcycle that you like. And pick one, enjoy it, use it. Use it. Very important. You need to buy a motorcycle that you want to ride. You do not want to be in a position where you stretch your budget. You buy something, and then your entire focus is on caring for that motorcycle. You don't want that, okay? It's a bike, it's a machine. If it falls, it can be fixed. If it's broken, it can be fixed. What that motorcycle's purpose in your life is to be an extension of yourself. And that extension should not be held back by socio-economic factors. What will people think, or what will I do with this bike, or what if it falls down? Oh, there's a scratch. Oh, it's dirty. No, keep that bike as an extension of yourself. If you want to go ride, have a bike that can do that. Just start the engine, go ride. That's all you need to do. You will quickly realize how much a motorcycle can teach you about life, and also what can teach you about motorcycling. Once you have used it, either keep it or sell it off, and then move on to something else. Remember, it's a journey. It's a long journey you need to have. You're gonna make mistakes. My first vehicle was a scooter. I bought a TVS Jupiter. Didn't I like it? I loved it. I loved it. The smooth engine, the super good efficiency, and you can just spin the throttle. It just goes till 50 kilometers per hour. It's just effortless. It's very practical, and you can really flick it around. And the combi brake system on the Jupiters, it just works. It's reliable. Nothing happens. I get it serviced so cheaply. I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. But I came to a conclusion after 3 years, or 2 years actually, 2, 3 years, is that I need more than this. I need more power. Okay, I cannot justify myself with this much power. I need more power. I need more versatility when I'm leaning into corners. I need more grip. So I could have done with a tire change, but I instead went ahead and bought myself a motorcycle, which I obviously enjoyed. So this is the kind of journey that I'm talking about. You need to take a risk, experiment with it, enjoy it, use it, and then move on to something else. So I hope that covers mostly, and this is obviously a part discussion as to, we're just talking about the 2 lakh rupee range, but I'm going to make another video about understanding and discussing basically all the motorcycles that are there under 4 lakh rupees, and which ones do I really think that would be very, very well suited to you. Couple of small mentions and a couple of final mentions in terms of bikes that I really, really like. So Super Splendor, like I initially mentioned, it's a very utilitarian bike. It looks very, I don't want to use that word, but it has a very cliche to it. It's an uncle bike. It's not, okay? It just looks like that, but it's super good. It corners well, and that's the bike I learned wheelie on, so you have that. So Super Splendor is one. The other bike that I really, really like is the Unicorn, the Honda Unicorn. It's a little bit expensive to what it is, but when you ride that bike, you will really, really, understand how good engineering looks like and feels like. That bike is super sorted. It looks very basic and very utilitarian, but it comes with monoshock. I think this was one of the first motorcycles with the monoshock suspension, which was available to the mass public to buy. It's just magic. You just flick it around the corner, the bike just goes, the performance is good, and Honda engines, it's just smooth. But it's not very engaging to ride. The engine is very torquey and it's very linear, so you have that. Another thing. It's not necessary for you to buy a new bike. I'm just saying you can actually buy an old motorcycle. Under 2 lakh rupees, you'll find a heck of a lot of motorcycles that you can obviously go and look out for. Usually you can find R15s. If you're into sports bike, get an R15. Just get an R15. Get an R15 cheap, get it fixed up, 20,000-30,000, spend on it, get it fixed up, new. It's magic. You can find old FZs for very, very cheap money, and FZs generally are very good. The chassis and all, it's nice, the performance is good, and it has that muscular feel to it, so you can have that if it's a lifestyle decision that you want to make. So a couple of motorcycles are there in that price range. You can obviously look into it. One thing I would like to say, cruiser bikes like the Avengers, don't really go for a cruiser if you're just learning motorcycles. Don't go for cruisers. The cruisers have a very specific idea, and it has a very specific use case. They're very comfortable. The foots are just a little bit front facing. So it's a very relaxed position. Dynamically, it's not very good. They don't flick into corners very quickly. You can obviously enjoy it. I mean, it's your bike. You can do multiple things with it. But as a first motorcycle, or as a bike that you're just looking to step up your game, the cruisers are not the obvious choice. You can go for it, but I'll suggest, if you want to buy a cruiser, save up your money, learn motorcycling, just get good at it, and then save up your money and get a Meteor. The Meteor will do everything that you want from a cruiser. It's comfortable, it's good looking, high quality, torquey engine. It's perfect. So that's about it. I'm not going to stretch it even more. I hope you liked it. If you did, please do share a like, put some comments. If you want to ask some questions, or if you want to give us feedback, do that. And please consider subscribing. Thank you so much. You have a good day. Bye-bye.